Welcome to the Find Your Property Boundaries and Corners session in the Learn About Your Land series. In this session, we will cover how to find your boundaries, why it is important to know where your boundaries are, and some of the implications of a few laws relating to boundaries. At the end of the lesson, we hope you will see the importance of walking your property boundary on an annual basis. Why is it important to know and keep an eye on your property boundaries? For one, knowing and marking your boundaries can prevent trespass by making it clear when someone is crossing onto your property. During a timber harvest, you want to protect your land from someone cutting your trees or you cutting someone else's trees. Timber theft comes with a hefty fine. Making your boundaries clear can prevent adverse possession, which we cover later in this presentation. The landscape is constantly changing, with land being sold and divided. A plat map may be outdated, or property lines may be based on memories. With some land open to public use, recreationists and hunters don't always know when they have crossed a boundary onto closed or private land. When you purchased your property, the paperwork included a legal description. You can also find this description on your property tax bill. The legal description describes where in the U.S. your woodland is located. It includes the township, range, and section numbers. On the bottom of the screen, you see an example of a legal description. It is read as the southeast quarter of the northwest quarter of Section 3 in Township 3 North, Range 1 East. Now let's look at how that is determined. Let's walk through an example of how to read and interpret a legal description. The example here is the southeast quarter of the northwest quarter in Section 21 of Township 2 North, Range 3 West. We start at the end and zoom in from there. The red square indicates our township and range. The range is 1, 2, 3 blocks to the west of the principal meridian, and the township is 1, 2 blocks to the north of the baseline. Within that township and range, we move on to find the section. Section numbering always starts in the northeast corner and zigzags back and forth to finish in the southeast corner. Our section is number 21, which means it is 4 miles to the west and 4 miles to the south of the first section. The section is further divided into quarters and halves. Remember that each section consists of 640 acres, so each quarter of a section is 160 acres, and a quarter is 40 acres, which is what we have here. It is read the southeast quarter of the northwest quarter. Again, working backwards, this parcel is in the northwest quarter and is the southeast quarter of the northwest quarter.
Many counties produce print copies of the plat books. You can find your legal description using a plat map. The map shown here is from Oneida County in northern Wisconsin. Each page in the book covers a certain township and range. This page shows Township 37 North and Range 8 East. Notice the section numbers in the center of each 640-acre section. Within each section, ownership is highlighted in the halves and quarters. Another way to track your property is through a variety of maps and aerial photos. A good place to find these is on the DNR WebView website. In the next few slides, we'll show you what you can find there and how to use the site. In WebView, you will start by searching for the location of your property using either an address or legal description, or by zooming in and out of the map of Wisconsin. There are various types of maps showing forest cover, roads, and water, to name just a few. The viewer will start with a basic map, and you will use the legend in order to turn various features and maps on and off. Here are some examples of several of those maps and features. When you decide to walk your property boundaries, you may find that corners have already been marked. Here are some examples of ways surveyors mark corners. Fences do not always mark boundaries. The fence law, discussed later, will explain when fences are required. However, it is important to note that fences do not determine property boundaries. Although fence issues are simply an issue for the town board, property boundary issues are much more serious. If you suspect there might be a difference in where boundaries are believed to be, start by talking to your neighbor. Everybody with a financial interest in the property must agree to those lines. Time is of essence, as adverse possession may come into play. Getting a survey done prior to a timber sale should make it all go smoother. Conversations with your neighbor about the sale boundaries can prevent future headaches about where any cutting was done. It may even improve your sale process if there are access issues, or your neighbor wants to work with the logger as well. Many landowners in Wisconsin allow others to use their property for various recreation, either through personal permission or through having land in the Managed Forest Law program that is open to the public. The Recreational Use Statute limits these landowners' liability in cases of injury. Trespass law covers those people who do not have permission to use your property. The days of posted property lines are gone. In a 1996 revision to the law, it now places the burden on recreationists to know where they are and where they are allowed to be. For aesthetic reasons, in most cases, landowners are no longer required to post signs on their boundaries. Adverse possession is also referred to as squatter's rights. It is the act of taking ownership of someone else's land by using it for a period of time. Unfortunately, the possession of property tends to be a complicated and emotional issue. An easy way to avoid this situation is a clear survey of your boundaries and subsequently walking them on a regular basis to observe use. Let's look at how use and time are defined in this rule. The fence law applies to land in agricultural areas. It was intended to protect neighboring land used for crops and grazing. A fence may not be required, but this rule defines fences and who is responsible.